Coming to you from the friendly confines of Bill Corey Stadium in Morgan County, I'm Buddy Hardigree, and this is the Region 8 Sports Report. Hello everybody from Morgan County, Madison, Georgia. This is the Region 8 Sports Report. Coming up for you tonight, we've got some highlights for you, we've got some scores for you, we've got the standings for you, and we've got the schedule for next Friday night's games. All that coming up on this half-hour program of the Region 8 Sports Report. First of all, let me apologize for not being with you last week. We had some difficulties, and we'll just leave it at that. So there was no program last week. You didn't miss it, we just didn't have one. We will get back on track this weekend and have one for you, of course, this one being it. And we'll have one more next week as the season ends up and get you ready for the playoffs coming up in a couple of weeks. All right, first of all, for tonight's highlights, we have the football game between Hart County Bulldogs and the Morgan County Bulldogs. And that game was played last Friday night in Madison, Georgia, which is where we are right here, right now. So we've got the highlights for that game for you coming up now. Then we'll have the scores from all the other games around the area as well as the standings. So stay tuned, all that's coming up for you. Right now we have the highlights from the Morgan County Bulldogs hosting the Hart County Bulldogs in Madison, Georgia last Friday night. So here are those highlights right now. This week's highlights come from the Hart County Bulldogs and the Morgan County Bulldogs game. It was a real dogfight last Friday night in Morgan County. To start the game, Hart County kicks off to Morgan County, and the kick is returned to the 28-yard line, where Morgan County's offense will go into play at that point. Morgan County, however, fumbles the ball, and Hart County's Marvin Dean recovers with very good field position for the orange-clad Bulldogs. So Hart County goes on offense, and Trey Clark carries for 10 yards. Then Trey Clark carries down to the 19-yard line. Quarterback Robert Allen passes down to the 6-yard line, and then the Gremlins take over, and we don't have video edit number 17. It disappeared, apparently, so we don't get the score or the extra point. But Hart County leads 7-0 with 3:53 to go in the first quarter. A few minutes later, Hart County gets the ball back, and Trey Clark gets down to another first down for the Orange Bulldogs, and then a 12-yard pickup for another first down. Then Robert Allen passes to Anthony Turner for a first down to the 16-yard line as the first quarter comes to an end. Then Trey Clark goes for his second touchdown of the night. The extra point attempt is good, and Hart County leads by a score of 14-0 with 11:47 to go in the first half. Now Morgan County gets on offense. Malik Chapman carries for 18 yards. Then Trey Chapman carries down to the 32-yard line. But at this point, the drive stalls, and they have to settle for a field goal attempt. A 32-yarder. The field goal is up and good. And it's Hart County 14, Morgan County 3 with 5:45 to go in the first half. That's how the first half would end. Second half action now. Robert Allen hits Anthony Turner, the wide receiver, for a big 47-yard pass down to the 21-yard line. Robert Allen then hits DJ Kraft for a 27-yard touchdown pass. Sergio Gomez kicks the extra point. It's good. And Hart County leads Morgan County 21-3 with 9:25 to go in the third quarter. Moving ahead to fourth quarter action, Hart County has a drive but stalls, and the drive ends up in a punt. The punt, however, is partially blocked, and Morgan County has good field position. Trey Chapman carries for the first down for Morgan County. Sam Couch hits Zach Howe for a pass down to the 11-yard line. Trey Chapman carries down to the 3-yard line. And then Richard Brooks gets into the end zone for the score. The PAT is good, and with 4:07 to go in the game, Hart County's lead is now cut to 21-10. But Morgan County's not finished. They get the ball back on the 30-yard line. Sam Couch hits Levi Ewing for an 11-yard pass. Then hits Quincy Jones for a 21-yard touchdown pass. They go for 2, but unfortunately for Morgan County, the 2-point conversion fails. And you have the final score of Hart County 21, Morgan County 16. Next week, Hart County will be at Jefferson to take on the Dragons, and Morgan County will host Jackson County. So there you have the highlights between the Hart County Bulldogs and the Madison County Bulldogs. And since I'm taping this before the game, I have no idea how it ended, but I'm sure it was a good game. Anyway, coming up for you, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some scores from all the other games played in Region 8, and we'll also take a look at the standings and see how everybody stacks up as we get ready for the playoffs coming up just a couple of weeks away from now. We'll be back with more of the Region 8 Sports Report right after this. Welcome back to the Region 8 Sports Report. It's time for the scores. We will check all the scores from all the games in Region 8, starting with Region 8 6A, going down to Region 8 1A. And then after that, we'll take a look at the standings and see how everybody stacks up as we get ready to go into the playoffs just a couple of weeks away from now. So get ready for that. So we've got all the scores for you, and we've got the standings. So here are the scores from last Friday night. Time to check the scores from last Friday night's football games in Region 8, and we'll start with Archer at Decula. And Archer won that game by a score of 35-3. Actually, that game was played on Saturday night instead of Friday night. Other scores in Region 8 6A, Berkmar and Shiloh. Shiloh won by a score of 46-0. Grayson closed out their season last Friday night with a 50-10 win over Brookwood. Grayson finishes with a perfect 10-0 overall record and 8-0 in the region. Parkview and Central Gwinnett. Central Gwinnett won by a score of 28-14. Those are the games of Region 8 6A. Moving to Region 8 5A, Appalachia and Cedar Shoals. Cedar Shoals won by a score of 29-0. It was Clark Central over Heritage by a score of 43-29. Salem and Flowery Branch. Flowery Branch Falcons pick up the win. They win by a score of 30-16. Gainesville and Loganville, and this might be a bit of an upset or a bit of a surprise. Gainesville wins by a score of 24-14. And Lanier and Winder Barrow. Lanier wins by a score of 48-21, and that puts the end to Winder Barrow's 5-game winning streak. Moving to 8-4A, it was Buford easily over Madison County by a score of 49-8. Buford remains undefeated in region play. Chestatee and North Hall. North Hall sprang back from a loss a week ago. They win by a score of 42-22. It was Franklin County over Johnson by a score of 14-7. Monroe area and White County. White County a winner by a score of 30-14. Stevens County defeated North Oconee by a score of 24-7. And that gets you up to date on the games in Region 8-4A. Moving now to Region 8-3A, Elbert County defeated East Jackson by a score of 41-0. It was Hart County over Morgan County, the game that we just saw the highlights of a few minutes ago. Hart County won by a score of 21-16. Jefferson and Oconee. Here's the upset of the night and the big surprise. Oconee County defeated Jefferson by a score of 36-35. Talk about a close game. And moving now to Region 8-2A. It was Greene County over Social Circle by a score of 37-13. Washington Wilkes defeated Oglethorpe County by a score of 35-7. And it was Union County over Riverside Military Academy by a score of 29-14. Moving now to Region 8 Single A.
Hebron and Athens Academy. Athens Academy won by a score of 42-12. It was Commerce over George Walton by a score of 35-9. Prince Avenue defeated Lakeview by a really nasty score, 66-0. Okay, let's upset about that. And moving to the last game, it was Towns County over Providence by a score of 21-14. And that gets you up to date with all the scores from all the games played in Region 8, 6A through Single A last Friday night.
All right, so there you have the scores from all the games played last Friday night. Now it's time to take a look at the standings. And, of course, as we say each week, the region standings are the ones that count toward the playoffs. The overall standings merely are the tiebreakers. So we'll take a look at the region standings first. And, of course, we'll take a look at the overall standings as well. But all those standings, starting with Region 8, 6A coming up first, and then down to Region 8, 1A. So here are the standings.
Okay, time to take a look now at the standings in Region 8, 6A all the way down to Region 8, 1A, starting with, as usual, Region 8, 6A. And we see that Grayson is already finished with their season. They're 8-0 in the region and 10-0 overall, and they win the region. Congratulations to Grayson. Now then, we have a bit of confusion once we get down to third place. Second place is Archer, 6-1 over in the region, 8-1 overall. Then we've got everybody else. Decula at 4-3, 5-4 overall. Brookwood at 4-3, 4-5 overall, and Central Gwinnett at 4-3, 5-4 overall. Then Parkview with 3-4 region records, Shiloh at 2-5, South Gwinnett at 1-6, and Berkmar with an 0-7 region record. But we see that Grayson has won the region. Archer is in second right now, and looks like they're pretty comfortable there with a 6-1 record. It looks like they can't even be touched there. Then we have the battle for third and fourth, which will make the playoffs, but we don't know who it's going to be yet because we've got three teams at 4-3. So this Friday night's game is going to make a lot of difference in that. Decula at 4-3, Brookwood at 4-3, and Central Gwinnett also at 4-3. Moving now to Region 8, 5A, we see that Lanier is going to win the region. They are 8-0 overall, 8-0 in region play, 9-0 overall. Loganville and Gainesville tied in second place there with 6-2 records. Now, if they go to head-to-head basis for the tiebreaker, Gainesville, of course, would take the lead because they defeated Loganville last Friday night. So, but if they look at the overall record, then Loganville gets the nod because they're 7-2 overall, where Gainesville is 6-3 overall. Yes, a bit of confusion there. Winder Barrow is in fourth with a 5-3 record, but they're also tied with Flowery Branch, who is at 5-3. So only four of those teams are going to make the playoffs, and there are five there vying for that spot. So I guess we'll see what happens this Friday night. Clark Central is at 4-4. Salem is 3-5 in the region. Cedar Shoals at 2-6. Heritage at 1-7, and Appalachia is 0-8 in the region. So once again, Lanier is going to win the region. Loganville, Gainesville tied for second. Winder Barrow and Flowery Branch tied for fourth. A little bit of confusion there. Now we'll move to Region 8, 4A, and we have yet still more confusion. Buford wins with a 6-0 record, but not so fast. They're actually tied with Stevens County with a 6-0 record, and both are 8-1 overall. But here's the good news. Buford and Stevens County will play each other Friday night, and that will decide who wins the region. So that's going to be a very big game in the region. Buford and Stevens County this Friday night. Both are 6-0 in the region, 8-1 rather overall. North Hall is at 4-2 with a 5-4 overall record. North Oconee 3-3, 4-5 overall. White County 3-3 with a 3-6 overall record. Monroe area 1-5. Madison County 1-5. Chestatee is 0-6, and Johnson did not play a region record. They are 2-7 overall. So we see that Buford and Stevens County tied for the first spot in the playoffs. And the third spot would be North Hall, and then you have a battle for the fourth spot between North Oconee and White County. So that's the really confusing picture in Region 8, 4A. Moving to Region 8, AAA, we've got Jefferson and we've got Oconee County, and I wouldn't have believed this, but they are tied in their region records. They are everybody's tied. Look at there. You've got Jefferson 4-1, Oconee County 4-1, Elbert County's 4-1, Hart County's 4-1. Now, how did that happen? That means that they played 5 region games, and each team only lost 1. Wow. So they basically have knocked off each other to give each other a tie of 4-1 in region play. Jefferson is 8-1 overall. Oconee is 7-2 overall. Elbert County 7-1 overall. Hart County 7-2 overall. You got Morgan County 1-4 in the region, 3-6 overall. Jackson County is 1-4 in the region, 4-5 overall. And East Jackson 0-6 overall in the region and 1-9 overall. But you've got Jefferson, Oconee County, Elbert County, and Hart County all vying for playoff spots, but you don't know what order they're going to come in because they're all 4-1 right now. So they'll definitely have to go to the tiebreakers to figure those things out. Moving now to Region 8 AA. It's Raven County all alone at the top with a 5-0 region record, 8-1 overall. Their only loss coming to Jefferson, by the way. Washington Wilkes 4-1, 4-5 overall. Union County 4-1, 8-1 overall. Actually, Union County would be ahead of Washington Wilkes there based on their overall record. Greene County 3-2 in the region, 5-4 overall. Social Circle 1-4, 3-6 overall. Oglethorpe County 1-5 in the region, 1-9 overall. And Riverside 0-5 and 1-8 overall. So we've got Raven County winning the region. And then who's going to come in second, third, and fourth? Well, we don't know. Washington Wilkes and Union County tied with a 4-1 record. And then you've got Greene County 3-2, probably taking the fourth spot. So that's the way things will look in 8AA. Moving now to Region 8 Single A. Prince Avenue has won the region. They are 7-0, 9-0 overall, and seem to be cruising to the region championship for the regular season. But the playoffs are yet looming ahead there. Athens Academy in second right now, 6-1 in the region, 8-1 overall. Commerce at 5-2 and 6-3 overall. Hebron is at 4-3, 6-3 overall. Athens Christian 4-3, 5-4 overall. George Walton 3-4, 3-6 overall. Towns County 2-6, 2-8 overall. Lakeview Academy at 1-6, they are 2-7 overall. And Providence 0-7, 0-9 overall. So we see that Prince Avenue is in first, Athens Academy is in second, Commerce is in third, and Hebron and Athens Christian tied for that fourth playoff spot. So this Friday night's games could clear these pictures up a whole lot, but that's the way the standings are right now in Region 8 6A all the way down to Region 8 1A.
So those are the standings, and now you know how everybody stands as we get ready to start the playoffs just a couple of weeks away from now. So we're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the schedule of games coming up, the final week of regular season coming up this Friday night. So we'll have those schedules for you right after this break. We'll be back with those right after this on the Region 8 Sports Report. Back with the Region 8 Sports Report, half hour with us every week, and you are a scholar when it comes to football in Region 8. Well, we try to think so anyway. Time to look at the schedule for upcoming games this Friday night in Region 8, and we've got those schedules for you from 6A all the way down to Single A, and here they are right now.
It's time to check the schedules for the upcoming games this Friday night, and this is the last Friday night of regular season football. And we have some very important games that will tell us a lot of stories as far as going into the playoffs the following week. All right, we start with 8-6A. 8 and 6A is behind it. And we see that Brookwood will be at Archer. Central Gwinnett will be at Berkmar. Decula at Parkview. Shiloh will be at South Gwinnett. And Grayson, as we told you, they've already finished their regular season 10-0 overall, and they are going to win the region. Moving to Region 8-5A, Appalachia will be at Lanier, and Lanier hopes to finish their season undefeated, and Appalachia hopes to play spoiler this Friday night. Cedar Shoals will be at Salem. Loganville travels to Clark Central to take on the Gladiators. Flowery Branch will be at Gainesville to take on the Red Elephants, and Winder Barrow will be at Heritage for the last game of the regular season. Moving to Region 8-4A, Stevens County at Beaufort. This is the big game because they are both tied for that top spot in Region 8-4A, and only one of them can win it. So if somebody's going to win that game, it's going to be a biggie between Stevens County and Beaufort at Beaufort this Friday night. Monroe area will be at Chastity. Johnson of Gainesville will close out their season with Dawson County. Madison County North Oconee will be at Madison County coming up Friday night. North Hall will be at White County. Those are the games of Region 8 4A. Moving to Region 8 3A, and it'll be Elbert County at Oconee County, and that's the game we're going to be covering this Friday night. Big game between Elbert County and Oconee County. Hart County will be at Jefferson, and Jackson County will be at Morgan County. Moving to 8AA, Raven County will be at Greene County. Social Circle will be at Riverside Military Academy, and Union County will be at Washington Wilkes. Then in Region 8 Single A, it'll be Athens Academy at George Walton Academy. Athens Christian will be at Hebron Christian. Commerce travels to Lakeview Academy, and Prince Avenue will take on Providence. And that is all of the games scheduled for this Friday night in high school football in Region 8.
Okay, so there you have it. Those are the scheduled games coming up this Friday night. And, of course, next week we will have not only the scores and the standings, but we will give you the first round of the playoffs, who's going to be playing who in the playoffs. So, and that will be our final week, by the way. We'll not be covering the playoffs. That's just a little bit too much to chew, I guess. But we won't be able to do that. But we will get you ready for them next week. So it's the final week of the Region 8 Sports Report. We'll get you geared up and ready for the playoffs and let you know who's going to be playing who in the first round of the playoffs. All right, that's going to do it for this week's Region 8 Sports Report. You've seen the schedule. Go out and support the high school of your favorite, whichever one that happens to be, and enjoy some high school football. Have a good weekend, and check in with us next week for the final week of the Region 8 Sports Report.
Oh, by the way, remember, if you have any questions or comments concerning the program, then by all means let us know. We'll be glad to answer your questions and listen to your comments. If you need to make contact with us, the way to do so is by email. It's av1productions30680@gmail.com. Once again, that's av1productions30680@gmail.com. And of course, there's the regular U.S. mail. You can send any comments to us at AV1 Productions, 1021 Jefferson Highway, Winder, Georgia 30680. Once again, that's AV1 Productions, 1021 Jefferson Highway, Winder, Georgia 30680.